Hey, thanks for joining me on this beautiful Saturday morning. Glad y'all could make it in. This is Tory's second interview with me. And the point of this interview is because, the first time he was a very much of a gentleman and he spared a lot of people's feelings and thoughts. And so this time he wants to say how he really feels. He did not ask me to do this. I asked him. So this is not him going on a rant. This is me wanting to know the real deal because I've always wanted to know. So we are going to be respectful in the chat, please and thank you. And we are just going to hear what he has to say. I'm going to ask him questions, simple as that, and he is going to answer them, simple as that. Alicia, thank you, girl. Lee with the T. Brown D. Garan Israel, thanks for joining. So I am going to bring Tory up now, and we are going to get this going. This is going to be his last interview, so y'all enjoy it. Hi, Tory.
Hey, how you doing?
Fine. How are you?
I'm wonderful and blessed.
Well, I thank you for coming here once again to speak with me.
Pleasure having me. Thank you.
Yes. So I just want to ask you questions. Some of the things I may ask that I already have. We lost him. Let's get him back. Good morning, Ellen V. Hey, Kamisha. Michelle Jesse is in the building. There he goes. Okay. Having a little disconnect.
You disappeared. You disappeared on me for a little bit.
You disappeared on me.
I guess we disappeared.
Put you back. Okay. Well, if that happens again, just come on back as usual.
Okay.
Hello, Monique. Hello, Seth Chapel Wilcox. Okay, so let's get to it. So, Tory, tell me, why did you agree to do this second interview with me?
Because I think I give like cautious answers to questions, and I'm like, you know what? I'm starting to see like people don't really care how they address things, and I'm overly caring about how I address things. I want to make sure that what I'm saying, I'm always giving, like, I'm not trying to shade or hurt anybody or put people's business out. And I think that that in itself has probably hurt me more than it than helped. You know what I'm saying? Because I always talk with the filter. I always I'm very cautious of things just because I just don't. I'm a big supporter of us. I feel like there's enough of us shading us. So, you know, but I've come to realize that people are going to hate me regardless. They're either going to hate me or they're going to like, they already made their opinion. There's nothing I can say to anybody to make them like me. And just me being myself, people just, they're going to either hate me or like me. So
I agree. I definitely agree. Okay, so let's just jump into it. We are not going to wait. So, I have seen, other interviews that you have done, and I have seen, some interviews that she has done. And so there was a lot of things that I wanted to know from her perspective when I seen. So I'm just going to ask you some things based on some of the things that I have seen her talk about, and I just want to get your side of that. So, first of all, I want to talk about the fact that you guys met a time or how many times off camera.
um twice. Just want to make
Twice.
sure twice. One out to eat at like some kind of Mexican restaurant or something like that. It was over there like in Tacoma Park. And the second time she came like right before the lake house. She came by. We had a conversation where we just came to the conclusion where we're not going to move further. I mean, basically, she just let me know that she feel like I don't emotionally connect with her, as in regards to um, maybe seeing her side of things, and that's where we came to an understanding. This is prior to the lake house, that just it's not gonna work, and then she gave me the information about how she felt about the other guys as well.
Okay, so let's go back to the beginning when the first time y'all had met outside off of camera. How was that?
It was a pretty good evening. I mean, we had a good time. We were supposed to go to like a little bar, but I think that night, I don't know what happened with it. It was just like, I think it was totally unmelanated, and we wasn't ready for it. It was definitely unmelanated. We've been only two melanated individuals there, so we like forget it. We just go to a restaurant.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you guys first met, everything's going good. I mean, the process from the time that you left, how many weeks was that?
The process to the time that I left. What do you mean?
Yeah, from the time you started at the mixer, from the time that you left, how long was that? How many weeks did
Oh, it
that?
started for the next year. So we started October, September. Okay, I think we started like October 1st or 4th, and we ended like 2 days before November, like the
Okay.
last day of November. I mean, sorry, the last day of September, October, last day of October.
Okay.
Because it was supposed to go to November 5th, but it didn't. They kind of rushed everything.
Okay. Got you. Got you. So I want to talk about, of course, the whole truth or dare, because that's where it seems that a lot of it started. But right before that, did you guys have any type of what was the conversation like before that day that you guys had? The last conversation you guys had before that truth or dare. And what was the vibe between y'all?
The last conversation we had was the night before, where um, I just texted who she was feeling, who's her number one, blah, 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 just kind of get an understanding of where she was. And she was like, Tory number one, and that she was feeling me. Um, so, the dynamics was a little bit different when we got to the beach house, the lake house, or whatever. But from my understanding before that, I was the person that she was feeling the most, at least from what I was told.
Did she touch on how she felt about Demetrius at the time at all?
No. Honestly, I didn't even know they had such a connection. There was a couple things, and it just kind of maybe makes me feel, um, was it played? Because I remember it was either Precious or something. I had a conversation, and it was like, well, Demetrius had texted her, but she was wondering why, because she didn't really think he was interested, and she not feeling him like that. So that's what her friend told me. And I'm thinking, like, was it real or was it true? Maybe she was just kind of set me up for the whole, trying to make me feel like she was really interested in me. Because I didn't realize those two had such a strong connection until later. So maybe, I felt like maybe they were working in tangent, or maybe they wasn't. But we had the bus date, I think maybe a week before, and her she knows I could tell she had a little interest in Demetrius, but I didn't know to the extent. And then additionally, like when I walked her to the car, she said she wasn't feeling how he was acting on the bus, or how she felt he was acting. So make a long story short, it just made the way she talked about him in that moment made me feel like she was definitely not interested. So therefore, I think it was more of a shock when I found out they actually had a deeper connection than what was portrayed.
Did she did you guys have a conversation leading up to her expressing how she felt about Demetrius, or did she just volunteer the information?
Talking about Demetrius.
Yeah, when you walked her to the car after the bus ride.
Oh yeah, she just volunteered. She was just telling me that the date was interesting, and for the most part, she was like, did you see how he was acting? But I kind of understood, because they put two women. And I think they did that. The production did that for drama. They put two women on the bus, three guys. What sense did that make? So
None.
so when you put in a space where you really don't have anybody to can talk to, and everybody's trying to gravitate towards having a conversation so they don't look awkward, I think that's understandable, because what they didn't do or shows when I was in the back of the bus, I'm like, and her and Wiley was trying to have a conversation. It was like trying to play hopscotch to get in. It felt weird, it was off. So definitely understood where his disposition came from, because it was a little ridiculous. Why have two guys and three girls? I mean, three girls, two girls, three guys. It was, I think to me, it was a setup, at least for either my part or Dimitri's part.
I would agree. Okay, so to the truth of there. After she nibbled on Demetrius' ear and he did back to her, it said that you stormed off. Would you say that that's accurate?
That's a complete lie. Takia, Carmen, Tina, they can all tell you, because they even afterwards, the Ace, they can all tell you when they cut everybody out, because they was like afterwards, it was like when they saw the video, it was like, when did that happen, Tory? We all left at the table together. Like they were like, and Takia was like, I was right behind you, and I looked behind me, and Sabrina was behind me as well, like walking behind me. So we all left together off the table. I don't know if they edited people out or whatever, and I never said what I said at that moment, like about packing my stuff up. Carmen had asked me, was talking behind the scenes, and I'm still mic'd up, and I said, we've been there for 14 hours. Let's somebody pack my shit up and go. But I never said that on camera. You know what I'm saying? And I never got up off the table by myself. Everybody was behind me. So I'm thinking when they made the scene, they deleted it. I mean, they just put it for dramatic effect, which was not okay, because then you make it seem like I'm emotional about something that I wasn't. Now, don't get me wrong. I was shocked, and I did feel away. So I'm a human being.
Exactly.
But to the extent that the show portrayed, they over dramatized it. It was like they saw like, oh damn, Tory's shocked. Let me over dramatize it. Let me delete people that are around him to make it look like he's getting up himself. Because if it's cut, and then when you hear the words, well, I'm about to pack my shit, you don't see my mouth move. People so unfortunately, we don't have the smartest viewers in the world, and I appreciate all the people that view the show, but sometimes they don't realize how editing affects, or you can actually see a lot. Like, okay, the guy's mouth didn't move. My mouth didn't move. If you go back and watch it, you don't even see my mouth move when that come out at all. It's something they took behind the scenes and made it seem like I was walking away, but because they wanted that dramatic effect, but all it was an embarrassment to me.
There goes that manipulation.
Yeah.
So, it was said that she was waiting for you outside of the bathroom to talk to you. Is that right?
That's correct.
And how did that conversation go? What do you feel her demeanor was?
It looked like she was kind of hurt too, to be honest with you. It was because I walked to the bathroom and I could kind of see her like behind my peripheral, but I didn't really know what she wanted because she was walking fast. Then I went in the bathroom, came out, and she was waiting right there. And then she came to the door and kind of stopped me at the door before I walked out, and was like, I didn't come to use the bathroom, right? I came to talk to you. Like, we need to talk. I was like, okay, what about? You know what I'm saying? We good. And she's like, I can see your face. I know you were shocked. I didn't mean to blindside you. She told me that basically that everybody knows I'm her number one and how she feels about me. But, Demetrius asked her to step it up and kind of give him some interest, let him know that, he's in the running too. And she's told me that that's basically her way of letting him know that he's in the running, and not 100% about Tory, which what everybody thought. Everybody, was telling me. And initially I looked back and I'm like, well, yeah, if people gas me up, production and her friends and all the ladies all felt the same way. So it's like, where's the line when people genuinely believe this? You know what I'm saying? When I'm talking to the women on the show and they're telling me how much this girl likes me, you know what I'm saying? So either she oversold how much she liked me to people, or she just didn't, things shifting. And you don't get it. It's a dating show. What people do not understand is in real life, you know, when you open up and be truthful to people, people are capable of understanding. Like if me and you meet and I'm saying, well, I'm interested in this person, or I'm talking to this people, you're prepared for that. But and it is a dating show, but when people make it seem like they're all about you, it's just you know what I'm saying? It puts a different parameters on how you start to move, because if I think somebody's about me, then I'm gonna start being about them. That's just how I am. If I think somebody's dating around or doing A B C D, then I'm do A B C D and do me. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm the type of person, I match energy. So if I feel like I'm getting that energy, I match it. I don't have any. I came there for a reason. I don't have to. I'm not indecisive. Just make it like that. I'm very decisive.
Okay, that's fair. So, would you think that she downplayed your feelings and emotions about that whole situation?
Um, I can't really say. I would honestly feel like she felt
Because from
like,
what she said you were very emotional and your face looked like it was drained.
I mean, I was shocked. If you shocked, you gonna look like that. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't emotional. I'm the one who went to the bathroom and you had to use the restroom. You sat there for like, we were sitting at the table for like several hours. You've been there for like 14 hours. You know what I'm saying? I haven't had a chance to use the restroom. Hell, everybody went to the restroom afterwards. It was a big long line. They only had one restroom. Um, when she stopped me, she said it felt like I was drained, but she felt like that everybody kept saying, go ahead and go to Tory. Because they just try to portray like she tried to portray like it was only Joy, but everybody was like, go to Tory. Tina was like, go to Tory. You know what I'm saying? The kid was like, you better go hang to your man, sis. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not Tina, but the kid, Joy was like, you can go ahead and Tory. So it was multiple voices, which led me to believe, okay, well, if all these women are seeing this or feel that way, then evidently it's not just me. You know what I'm saying? The fact that other people feel comfortable with speaking out loud. But as for my face and being drained, we was there 14 hours for the whole day. I mean, honestly, the shock, I'm like, I was here for 14 hours for this. I mean, I could have went home.
I hear that. I mean, even the audience, the fans watching were like, okay, she's going to Tory. There was no ifs, ands, or buts about it for anyone, I don't think. So everyone was shocked, actually. So, yeah. Okay, so I want to talk about the whole thing between um her and Precious are very good friends, and you didn't know that they were good friends, and the fact that you and Precious would talk and she would tell you things. So I guess I want to know is, do you feel that they played any type of thing with you, knowing that they both had an interest in you, but yet they were both friends and you didn't know?
Yeah, now looking back, yes, I feel like maybe they platformed and played off each other. Because I'm thinking like, I will never forget. Um, I'm on the couch one day and me and Sabrina on the phone, and I'm like, you know what? It'd be good, one day just have a glass of wine, watch a good movie, you know what I'm saying, and chill, you know what I'm saying, and really just enjoy your company. She texts back, I'm sorry, not on the phone, but this was through text message. And she was like, no, not to after the show. And I'm like, I wasn't even talking about now, you know what I'm saying? So next day I told Precious, because I said, it kind of gave me a little flag. I'm like, you know, I didn't say it now, but it was like the comment was after the show, you know what I'm saying? Instead of like, when we get to know each other better, or, like what would you feel like somebody of genuine interest would say? Like, I know like maybe, I might be following this process, but if I'm interested in somebody, I kind of get they say key things to make you know that they're fully committed to getting to know you. So I told Precious the next day how I felt, because Precious was sending me text messages about how she really wanted to get to know me, blah blah blah, like me. She loved our vibe, but it never came to fruition. So, but I still was able to have a conversation with her here and there, very open, because I always let people know where I stood. So I told Precious that. Precious said, Tory, you got to trust but verify. You know what I'm saying? You got to trust your gut but verify. That's how she talked. Trust your gut but verify. And she said, but what I know, I think she, I know she really likes you. So make a long story short, later on that evening, I had a conversation with Sabrina. She kind of brought it up on her own, and like the conversation, she kind of felt like she kind of sounded like a little bit nervous. You know what I'm saying? So to me, I felt like, yeah, Precious told her what I was saying or said. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just all of a sudden she brought it up, and then Sabrina, you could tell when it's something on her mind or kind of like nervous. It shows. You know what I'm saying? Like she's not able to have that full poker face as she thinks she has.
Okay. She also mentioned the whole thing of basically the way that you are giving her gifts, sending her poetry. She says was slightly coming on strong. Did you ever get that impression? That's how she felt.
No, that's what she told me her love language was. One of her love languages, receiving gifts, acts of service. And my thing is, like, if you don't like gifts, just don't accept them. I mean, you acting like you're interested in somebody. Somebody thinks you're interested, and they want to show you if they're interested. Then it's a gift. I'm giving you a gift. And it wasn't like those serious gifts. It's like cupcakes. She got and then like I had got some what they didn't show too. Went on a date. I had custom made chocolates, stuff like that. We was in a Mexican joint and bought her a T-shirt. You know what I'm saying? Like if getting gifts is coming on strong and you don't like gifts, then you just don't like the person. But just don't front like you like me, because at the end of the day, I'm getting messages talking about, well, you know, I showed my sister your picture. She said, you're really handsome, blah blah blah. You could have kept that to yourself. Or, you trying to tell me that you're really interested in me, you really like me, you want to see where it goes, you don't want me to stop showing you time and affection. So to me, it was just all a play. Especially for her to say that, this is let me know she just played. She really played a game, and it's okay to play games, but don't be own up to it. You know what I'm saying? Because
Yes.
I wouldn't have did none of that if you didn't give me that energy. You know what I'm saying? I'm not trying to be funny, but Sabrina's a cool, an attractive woman, but not trying to be out for the show. But it's like it's not the all in all be all. You know what I'm saying? I hear people say, well, Sabrina's in this class and this class. This is a lot. This is DC. There's a lot of attractive, beautiful women up here. I mean, the ratio is a little bit different. So at the end of the day, none of the guys, including myself, are pressed for a female. I mean, I know our audience wants us to be pressed. Y'all feel the need for us to be pressed, and that's because it makes them feel good to see another man or individual pressed or hurt or whatever. Because I think people relate to. Unfortunately, our audience loves to see somebody just down, hate, hurt. I don't know why they feel that way, but no, if she had said something to me and stopped acting like she was so interested and into me, she bought me a gift. She bought me a candle and told me like she spent a lot of time on it, and that she wanted to make sure she get the right scent. Why get me a gift? You know.
True.
So and this is where I was definitely pulling away. So I think everything was just to rope me in, and then now she gives the audience, well, he was doing this and he was doing this. No, you're spelling a lie. Like you were adding about me. You made me seem like I was number one. I was her number one up until the bonfire. Because if you look at the show in that season, at the bonfire, they finally put me as her number one, but I was her number one the whole time. Why was Tory your number one? That don't make no sense. If you look at the first episode, they cut my name out. If you listen to it carefully, it says and Demetrius and also Clifton. What's beforehand? The show, since we didn't go nowhere, I think they cut me out of a lot of things. But why was Tory your number one up to the bonfire if that's the case? Now that Tory's pulling away, oh, he came on too strong, or he's this and this and this. I mean, why did everybody else feel that way? Why did the ladies feel like that? Why did Tommy say at the reunion, I thought you were going to go to Tory? Y'all got to have some people got to look between the lines and look at the pretext. Why do everybody else on the show feel that way? Why do all the women on the show, even if we're friends or friend zoned or whatever, so-called, why do they have nothing but positive things to say about it? So you got to look at, okay, so y'all might not like Tory, y'all want to downplay Tory, but so many people around me that saw me in the moment, nobody said anything negative about me. They haven't said Tory's a liar. They haven't said Tory's a snake. They said Tory, is a good person. I've seen the interviews. People in her circle. So why did everybody feel like you was going to go to Tory? Why did everybody feel like, you and Tory had such a strong connection? But now all of a sudden that came on too strong now that Tory started pulling away, because I just felt like it was games.
Do you feel like her answer that she gave you for going to Demetrius was valid? Like, did it make sense to you?
No, it was like to me, it was like one of the dumbest things I've heard. It's almost like if a girlfriend tell you, and she's not my girlfriend, it's a dating show. I know, because people they're like, you don't understand that. But I felt like it was like, how somebody would be like, well, we've been talking for so and so long, or blah blah blah, but in this 15 minutes I decided to do this because no, it just didn't make no sense to me. Like, she said her determination changed in a 15-minute conversation that they had. I'm like, damn, 15 minutes and we've been kicking it hard for the last 3.5 weeks. Like, what I'm saying, 15 minutes, that's all it took. I'm like, that's almost like, like you, and take in mind, we're just getting to know each other. And even after the show, we picked each other, we're still going to just get to know each other. But it's almost like a girlfriend that says, well, I just met the guy and I cheated on you, but, because you had good game for 15 minutes, but I still care about you. I'm like, I told her I didn't need the explanation. You're a grown woman. This is what it's for. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just put my standpoint on it. Like, I need more decisiveness. And it's my prerogative as a man in this process. If I want more, someone to be more decisive, that's my choice. And if it's not something she want to do, then it's cool, but we just can't connect on that level. And that's why I just drew the line. People like, well, why do somebody has to make a choice or whatever, or this and this? I mean, Joy and Clifton, they came and knew what they wanted. They knew what they wanted up front. Why can't, so you saying I can't come for that? Because it's called ready to love, guys. You know what I'm saying? Which I don't understand is, if you're ready for something, it's okay to go for it because you're ready. If you're not ready, then you tend to follow through the cycle, and it ends up like how it ended, like people not making connections because they want to play the game so bad. People are caught up on the game and not the reality of the situation. We are real people.
That is true. Looking at it all now, do you feel that she was at all ready to love, or do you feel that she was there thinking she was ready to love at all?
I felt like that's a good question. I was going to say, not ready to love. No. We had a conversation and she's not ready. Because we did have a conversation for clarity once, and she let me know she wasn't ready. And I said, you know what? I appreciate that. That's really was 100. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's the most 100 thing you said. This is after the process and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like, but to me, I'm like, did she know she wasn't ready in the first place? Or was she trying to lie to herself that she was ready? You know what I'm saying? I can't determine that, but the only thing I know for a fact is that she wasn't.
Okay, that's fair. So I want to talk about the whole picture, showing her sister the picture thing, at what point in the process did she tell you that she did that? And did she tell any of the other men that? Do you know?
Well, so yes. So it was after the bonfire. I think we had a date at some Tamariel Mexican place, and then that's where she told me that she had showed her sister my picture and whatever, because she had sent me a horoscope, and like I kind of like checking out. So she'll text, and I kind of wouldn't respond, or either I respond like later in the day. And yes, it was purposeful, purposely, because I just felt like I'm not a sense of urgency. So why, you know what I'm saying? So I did back off a lot, but seemed like seemingly so, because I could have ended up, worse, you know what I'm saying, or being coming out different. But uh, let's say it was probably 5 weeks total in the process when she sent me the picture, said about the picture, and she did do that to other guys afterwards. After the show ended, I got to know the other two guys, and we was just talking, because it was just basically like we felt like she wasn't ready, or she was just going through and playing everybody. And I was like, she sent her she said she sent her picture to her sister, and they're like, oh yeah, she did that, she told me that too. You know what I'm saying? Or like I was like, well, she was sending me horoscopes, and they were like, yeah, she did me that too, like to make it seem like she was interested in like how we were compatible. You know what I'm saying? Like, because she's a Virgo. And so I think like, you know, what it does to a man when a woman takes all that time, or make her feel like you've been researching your compatibility, and you take time to read it, and when you're taking time to show family members pictures, or you take time to say good morning, or how much you really want to still continue to get to know them, even though you felt like things have changed in the process. It it gives you that dynamic that that person is overly interested. But like I said, I wasn't matching, I wasn't getting the words and the energy, that was aligning.
Okay, that's fair to say.
And it did feel like a
So
cookie cutter mold. Like it's like, okay, so you did it to the other guys. It's like a cookie cutter mold. Like, okay, I'll send everybody these. It's like a guy or either a woman that just sends everybody they talk to good morning and they phone at the same time. Like, let me go and get these out today.
yeah, go down the roster real quick. Let me
Yeah.
let me get them all out. Go down my list.
Let me text all my hoes. Make them feel special. Let me get that horoscope real quick.
And do you think that's initially what she was doing? How she played her game? If you want to say she was playing a game.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think so. Either that, or she just needed some, like she wasn't healed. Either she wasn't healed, then to her, one thing I learned about it, she justifies a lot of things by other people's actions and not her own. But I feel like, to me, looking back, it was a game, because now seeing and hearing the things that I'm hearing, that's not what you told me. That's not what you portrayed. You know what I'm saying? That's not what you told the other guys. People were like, oh, they're so adamant about this being a game, but it's not a game. It's about, trying to find genuine connections. So if you're telling multiple guys that you genuinely connected with them, and they're your number ones, and you're all into them, then they're going to believe it. And then they might change their perspective on you. They're like, okay, she's all into me, so let me give her what she needs. But again, no, it's neither here nor there.
Do you still have the candle? Did you ever use it? Did you ever burn it at all?
Oh yeah, I burnt the hell out the camera. Yeah, nah, yeah, I burnt it. Yeah.
Okay, so did you ever tell her at any point in any type of conversation that there was nobody else there for you?
No. So it's kind of like, it felt like, so the second time we met, off cam, when I told you she was telling me about the other guys or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
she was telling me she wanted to self-eliminate, and she was trying to think about self-eliminating, because she didn't this is where we established this prior to the lake house, that, we're not going further anywhere. And she did say, hey, Tory, I wanted to let you know, what I'm saying, because I told you I'll be so and so up with you. But then up until then, that moment of the day of the lake house, it was like, oh, I'm still trying to get you. I'm still trying to talk to you, Tory. I want you to pay me some attention, Tory, blah, blah, blah. But I was never doing it. And I think this is when she told me, like, where our emotions don't align, where I'm not, I guess I wasn't giving her what she needed. And because I kind of stopped doing all that nice stuff. I'm just like, it is what it is. I don't feel like I give people the energy they give me.
Right.
And to answer your question, I just feel like I'm trying to remember the question. I got a little sidetracked.
I said, you asked, did she, because she said that you told her there was nobody else there for you.
Oh, so the reason I brought that up is, no, I never told her that. And she said something about that night when she was talking about self-eliminating. Because she's like, she's not going to go with Donovan. She's not going to go with Demetrius. She tried to call Demetrius militant, and she called Donovan an F-boy. And she was like, I don't know if I go through this process because Tory, no, none of the men are for me. So she was like, what about you? And then it's kind of like she was just trying to push me to eliminate. Kind of felt like now that I made it to the end, I want you to eliminate yourself. You know what I'm saying? She was kind of trying to push me. And I'm like, why you keep pushing me? And it felt like a play. Like, I don't need you for votes anymore. You can go. And because even like I told you, we had a conversation afterwards, and she was like, Tory, you told me you wanted to self-eliminate. I'm like, no, I didn't say that. I didn't say that. Well, you did. And I'm like, no, I didn't say that. You kept trying to push me. Like, now that you don't need me no more for votes and stay here, okay, now it's time for Tory to go. It just kind of like felt like, well, yeah, I got what I needed. It's time to go. But no, I never told her that. I did tell her that, she's my number one pick. I was consistent with that. I told her that, I did care about her genuinely. And I told her that she got to do what she got to do for her. Like, it might not be with Tory, but if it's Demetrius or Donovan, you know what I'm saying? I just wish her well and happiness. You know what I'm saying? That's all I want. Like, to be happy with whoever you ain't got to be me at all. And then later on, it couldn't be me.
Right. Okay. So, let's see. When did you start first seeing the red flags from her? When you realized she's probably playing a game, what was that first initial thing?
The first thing was the thing I told you about the text when I was text messaging. She was like, no, not to after the show. And I'm thinking your first thoughts of the show. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Which is so. And then it was a few other things. It was just stuff she would say over the phone. You know what I'm saying? Like, that let me know that she was kind of like not ready. You know what I'm saying? Like, she would try to convince me, she was ready, even though she's been out of marriage for a short time. But it was just certain things that didn't align in the energy. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was a lot of high energy over the phone. It was a lot of, really feeling each other over the phone. But when it came to like stuff in person, how a woman that is really into you when it comes to like maybe affection and stuff like that, that wasn't aligned. So that was another thing. Another also I think it was just quite a few things just didn't match up, like the Demetrius thing, because like before we got to the lake house, the beach house, it was Tory, and I'm like, you tell me 15 minutes, he gave you the best 15-minute conversation of your life. now you're not feeling Tory no more, like crazy, because what y'all didn't see was, yeah, I gave her cupcakes, but I actually gave her another gift. They cut that out there.
Mm-hmm.
So she walked around and kept tapping on her shoulder like, it's in my pocket, it's in my pocket. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's in my pocket. Like, I would see her and she's like, I'm keeping it close to me. You know what I'm saying? So made it seem like she was really interested because her favorite color was is sage green. So I had got her something sage green, and she it just kind of gave me that. So I'm thinking like, okay, well, we just exchanged gifts. You know, you're telling me that you know I'm special, and then it's like, okay, 15 minutes, and then now you like nibbling on somebody else's ear. That was a flag. Um, the biggest flag was to me is like if we were out, like when Donovan finally came, we'll be out, and it was like 1 minute she's making plans with me, like, oh, we got to do this and we got to do that. I can't wait till we have our date. And one night we was talking about maybe going scooters and riding around the city. And then like I think Donovan sat on the table, and I'm like, you looking at me? She looking at me with googly eyes. Like I think they were genuine.
Mm-hmm.
Then Donovan comes down. She look at him with googly eyes. You know what I'm saying? And then if later on Demetrius around, she look at him with googly eyes. So I say this to say all this is which I confirm later when I asked. I tell her, I I don't have any ill will towards you. You know what I'm saying at all. You had to make your own choices. You're a grown woman. But I felt like you were boy crazy. She's like, of course, Tory. Who's not boy crazy? That's what she said, literally. And which I told her, thank you. I just wanted to hear. That's what I needed to hear because that's what I was thinking. You just right now we're not ready for nothing. Like you've been in a marriage for several years. You're ready. You want to live your best life. It just you could have did that without ready to love because these men are looking for stuff. You know what I'm saying? You're still ready to live your best life and meet multiple men. If you would have got with one of these men, you probably wouldn't have been with them long because you still want to get to know other men. And that was my biggest flag because I can look at her genuinely and look at her and she's like googly eyes for Tory, googly eyes for Demetrius, googly eyes for Donovan. And they were genuinely googly eyes for all of us. So don't get me wrong. I think it was more of a fascination. Like he's the flavor of the day. That's I think I want light chocolate, dark chocolate, brown chocolate. So, but she wasn't ready.
Oh wow. Okay. Um so did you feel, when did you started noticing that maybe red flags in the other men? Did you ever talk to her and she would talk about the other man and you thought that was a red flag on their behalf as much as the way she talked about them to you, like she did Demetrius at when you walked into a car? Did you ever feel that, how could she be talking about me to them?
Yeah. So I found out later that, she was, this is what I was told. I don't know for a fact, that, it was, she would talk about us all negatively to each other to keep us from like keep us feeling a way about each other.
Mm.
And so like up until it wasn't until the end that me and Demetrius really even had a conversation. Like we was not like, I don't think he didn't have no issue with me. I just think he wasn't fucking with me. And same here, I didn't have no issue with him, but I just wasn't messing with him till later on realize, he's a good guy. You know what I'm saying? A really good person, very intentional. So and I'll vouch for Demetrius, really good guy, very intentional. I've had conversations.
Oh, go ahead.
Now I've had conversation with him where he's like, it ain't nothing in the street story, you know what I'm saying? And he says it genuinely, you know what I'm saying? Like I can look at Sabrina and I can see how she is with the googly eyes. He's like that, like genuine about finding his mate. You know what I'm saying? He's not here for the games. But I just don't think, to answer, go back to the question, is it did kind of flag me a little bit, but I didn't think about it like that in the moment. You know what I'm saying? Like, the things that she did say about Donovan or Demetrius. I didn't think about it in the moment. I'm just thinking like, well, maybe, you know, I'm at this point I'm trying to be the friend. You know what I'm saying? Like I already realized we're not gonna go anywhere, but I think somebody said this to me a while back, and I heard the audience say it a few times. When you get to the point where you like somebody, but now you're comfortable with them, like I think I was a comfort zone to her.
Mm.
And I think that's where a lot of stuff came in, where she also wanted to keep me around. Like I'm a comfort zone now. Tory's he's kind of backed off, but I still want him around, and I feel capable and able of telling him certain things. But I also feel like it was a way of to navigate through the men. Like Tory's this to Demetrius, and I don't feel Tory like this to Demetrius. And then that's what she tell him, but then she tells me like, hey, well, I got red flags with Demetrius, or I got red flags with Donovan. You know what I'm saying? Like it was always somebody else.
Mm. Do you feel that's kind of maybe the reason why you and Demetrius didn't really talk as much in the beginning because of her and the way she talked about you guys to each other?
I mean, I think that, and additionally that. Sorry.
Blessings.
Thank you. Additionally, that and we both came for a purpose. Like I think Joy said it best. It's not we didn't come here to get to know the guys, or we didn't get to come here to know other girls. We came here to meet a mate or an individual of the opposite sex that we want to get to know. So we didn't come for that. So I think Demetrius at that point just didn't care, because that's not what he came from, to be bros or be friends and stuff like that. And same here. Now, I think, did that add to the dissension? Yes. I think he may be like, well, damn, Tory not fucking with me. And I'm thinking in my head, Demetrius not fucking with me. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But, so I think that did lead to a little dissension. But I think now getting to know them guys and afterwards and having conversations with them and listening to what they said, because there's some things that I heard was like, wow, like I'm shocked, like really, really saying that? Like she down like I think Demetrius told me right before we shot the reunion that she, he asked, it was weird, like she nibbled on his ear, but then she'd come to have a conversation, then she's chilling with me afterwards, y'all going by the bonfire. And it was like, oh, she said she did that because she had to comfort you, blah blah blah. But then, in her interview, she said with Tory, like, Tory said, well, Sabrina, you gotta do you. You know what I'm saying? Like, it is what it is. So which one is it? Like, so you tell him that you gotta comfort me, but then you tell your interview, Tory's like, it is what it is. He is kind of emotional or whatever, blah blah blah. But he's like, Sabrina, I want you to be happy. You got to do you. This is a process, blah blah blah. So which one is it? Because if I just told you do you, you ain't gotta kick it with me. You choose to at this point.
That's what's up. Okay. So what would you have to say about how you think she felt about you kissing Precious? Does she feel that you did it for revenge like everyone else did? Because the words that were used were, that was your checkmate, quote unquote.
I mean, that's not why the Precious kiss happened. There was a lot of stuff behind the scenes, but it is what it is. I think people are going to have their own narrative and spin off about it. But it had nothing to do with Sabrina. At this point, it's like, Tory, you need to move on, make your connections, see if anything's out there for you. You know what I'm saying? And again, I did not realize how they were like besties. You know what I'm saying? At least until
So you didn't know at that time that they were besties?
Yeah, I didn't know. I didn't know at the time. I kind of felt like they were leaking information to each other, but I didn't know it was like, oh, that's my girl. We ride or die. You know what I'm saying? But no, it wasn't a checkmate her. It wasn't even a thought process. I let people feel like they want to feel, because people put their own narrative on it. I'm the type of person. It's like, if somebody asks me to do something, if it ain't gonna kill me, why not? You know what I'm saying? I think at this point, I was trying to test the connection out. It just wasn't a connection for me. It was more of what production wanted me to do. They tried to push me and Precious together from jump. They wanted me and Precious to be an item, and when I wasn't feeling Precious, it's like, okay, what are we gonna do now? Because we didn't want, we felt like Precious and Tory was going to be a thing. We want Precious and Tory to be a thing. We kept trying to push it, because Precious, they said on that show episode, they said, well, we're going to send you out with your second. That would have been Ace. they didn't show me and Ace date. Why you didn't show me and Ace date? But then you want to show me and Ace, like she has to explain why she left the process. That didn't make no sense. Like,
Mm-hmm.
why do you show the date that me and Ace had so it can lead up to the process of her leaving, and y'all can have a context of me and Ace dynamics. Just like they didn't show a lot of me and Sabrina dates. Me and Sabrina went on like I think total of 5 dates.
Wow.
Yeah, but they didn't show none of that. We had a batting cage date. We had the bus date. We had the roof tape. They showed that one. We had a date at a Mexican restaurant. Uh, we had the one with the friend, and I think it was one more date. I'm trying to remember. But I had more dates with Sabrina than I had with anybody in this cast. Most of my dates were with Sabrina.
Do you feel that she felt that she had you and you weren't going anywhere? Like she had you in her pocket?
I think she knows I'm very loyal and I'm consistent with my decision. She I think she knew when it came to voting time and stuff like that that I'm just gonna be consistent. I'll look like an idiot coming out saying this name or that name. So she knows I'm very loyal. You know what I'm saying? To a fault. You know, um, so I don't think she thought she had me, but I think she knew who I was as an individual. She sized me up and analyzed me. It's like, okay, this is a good guy, this is a decent guy. He's the type of person, he's gonna be consistent regardless of what I do. You know what I'm saying? Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that worked to her advantage.
Okay. Did she ever, not to get in her marriage life, but did she ever talk to you about her marriage and then try to help you maybe understand why she, the whole not taking the last name thing?
No, so the last name thing was never a conversation that me and her had. But I didn't even know she didn't take her ex-husband last name.
Did
But
she,
we did. Uh,
did she talk to you about her? Did she confide in you about her marriage at all and how that all went? Not to get into that, but did she just
yeah,
talk
well,
to you
yes,
about it at all?
yes, she told me confided to me about her marriage, and gave me, her portion of her side of the marriage and what happened. Um, basically just it was kind of vague, to be honest with you. I kept asking, and it's weird. PO kept telling me, "You need to ask her," because he got to the bottom of it, and he kept saying, "Tory, you need to ask her about her marriage." Asked her about her marriage. I'm like, I ain't trying to, go in too deep. You know what I'm saying? Because it's just new. It might be a little soft spot, but so eventually I asked, and she could told me her side of why her marriage didn't work. Um, whether the truth or not, I'm not sure. But it was kind of vague, and I kept getting vague answers.
Okay. Okay. So I think it was mentioned that you guys did meet up after the show or after you were eliminated or whatever. What was that like?
We never met up after. Okay, you talking about the one time at the reunion? After the reunion,
Yeah.
um, it was a clarity conversation. This is where I told you where she basically told me she wasn't ready for anything. You know what I'm saying? And basically, I told her in that conversation, that I just felt like you had googly eyes for everybody. And she's like, yeah, Tori, who's not boy crazy? And I said, you know what? That's the most 100 thing you've said since I met you. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's just how I felt, and I told her, with the energy that I was getting, because she was telling me that, I was a real good guy, and she really cared for me, and she hated that we don't talk. And I was like, the energy I was getting from you, I couldn't give, even if you did change and it wasn't the nibble, like I could come from the nibble of the ear or whatever, come back from that or whatever, is I couldn't give you what you wanted or needed, even in me, in myself, because I would never feel comfortable with you. Like Sabrina was not a safe space. I think, you can let yourself go with people that are safe space, but I just don't feel like I would have gotten that from her. So I could never give her all the Tory. That me and her had this conversation, uh, a while back, even after, before the reunion and after the bonfire. Like, I can't give you Tory can't give you what you want. I can work towards it. You know, you really. And she's like, I really want to get to know you. I don't want this to hinder, you know, what was growing. I just, you know, it's burned me at my core because, you know, I really like you and I feel like you're gonna like back off from me. And I told her like I just felt like, you know, I'm willing to try, but you know, I just feel like I need the energy to match, and I just don't feel like she has the capacity to give it to me. Like now, she's still healing. You know what I'm saying? Still healing, and still, you know, not sure what she wants. Like I already knew the outcome was going to be not Tory after the bonfire. I already knew the outcome was not going to be not, you know, wasn't going to be with Demetrius or Donovan after the, you know, after a few conversations after the bonfire, and after seeing how she moved. So I knew the outcome of the situation beforehand. So it was like people want me to be this hurt puppy, but I peeked it out. Yeah, I felt a way at the bonfire, but did I feel that way days after? No. I mean, I was shocked. I'm a human being. You know, we got a lot of people that I guess they're not human. They don't feel, they've never been through anything. They've never been shocked. They've never been caught off guard. I mean, more power to you, but you know, I'm a human being.
That's facts. So when you finally realized that basically she was full of shit, do you feel, did she realize that you knew that, and do you think she tried to will you back in once she realized that maybe he's seeing me for who I really am?
Yeah, I got that a lot. Like I'll just get random text messages, you know, real nice text messages, you know, out of the blue. Cause like I should kind of stop calling and texting her or whatever. And I think she felt that energy. Or some days she'll call me and she'd be so excited, like, you know, good morning, handsome, blah, blah. I just want to wish you a good day, blah, blah, blah. Or send me these nice little messages. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, I already know what this is. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just to keep me here. But I already peeped it out. You know, what people see is the narrative the show wanted. They had to give a narrative, but I peeped it out a long time ago. You know what I'm saying? Like it was just try to keep me around. Like honestly, didn't have only purpose people she had a connection with was Donovan, me, Demetrius, and honestly, like I don't feel like even it. Well, she didn't realize she didn't even need me for votes. Production loved her storyline. You know, she didn't have to keep me reeled in, but
Mm-hmm.
she did a lot of things like the horoscope thing, keep me reeled in. You know, sending me good messages or acting like she wanted to spend time or get to know me or go on dates, you know what I'm saying? Like all that was just to keep me here. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't never interested in anything with me. I understood that already. You know what I'm saying? I understood the assignment, you know what I'm saying, in regards to the show. And in regards to her, I understood her assignment. It was, you know, I just not that vocal about it, you know. You know, people want to just feel a certain way, let them feel that way.
What do you think her assignment was? Like, what do you feel what you feel her end game was?
I don't. It's weird because it's like you don't get a like this paycheck you get from this show is so small. It's not even worth it. And I don't. I almost felt like you know you just came to play with these guys. I mean, it just felt like you just came to play. You know what I'm saying? Like you know, this might have been like television for you or whatever. Or the you know the clout tokens. I don't understand because I see episodes where I know these guys were genuinely interested in you. Nobody's perfect. Nobody. It's not saying you're going to be married or get with these people like after the show. Like this is my one. This is saying, hey, after the show, I want to continue to know you. I want to continue to date you. I want to see if it goes somewhere. And it felt like with her, she felt like she had to make a decision. I have to marry this guy as soon as I leave the show. Like, no, that's not the pressure you under. Like, it's the pressure you under is just to get to know somebody and pick somebody that you wouldn't mind dating and then getting to know and see how it works out. But I don't know her in game. It just felt like I don't know. It just felt like she was playing.
Looking back on everything and from what you have seen, what do you think her true reason was probably for not meeting Demetrius' people?
Control.
Control.
Control. She couldn't control the narrative. I think Demetrius took the narrative in his own hands, and it made her mad. I think, don't get me wrong, one thing I've learned about Sabrina is she justified her actions to herself. Like the things she does, because I've listened to her talk, and I just would shut up and just listen, because sometimes it's not my place. I knew we weren't going to go anywhere, but a lot of stuff was a bunch of justification.
Mm.
Why she moved the way she moved, the way she felt. And I'm thinking, like, in my head, even when it comes to she was talking to the other men, why don't you just make a decision? You're just dating. You're not, the people that watching the show don't get the assignment. They think, oh, it's to play around, or, oh, we got to date 100 people. Production said to me, they said this to the group, and this is what stuck with me. People that connect are not necessarily meant to be to stay to the end of the show. You know why? Why production? A guy from production? Because if you're connecting with somebody, you're not worried about staying to the end of the show. You might not have other connections to keep you voted in. You people that connect are more worried about connecting with an individual than being there to the end of the show. And I got what he was saying. The assignment is, don't be so caught up on staying in these votes that you miss your connection. And I think she got caught up with staying and being here than getting that genuine connection. Because what I think she felt to understand is especially if she liked Demetrius, you know what I'm saying? It had to be about Tory or Donovan, or even could have been Donovan. I saw a lot of clips where he said, I'm willing to give you what you want and need. And it seemed like every time somebody gave her what she wanted or needed, she's like, hold up. Back up. Back up. It's like, okay, the guy is compromising. Even if you feel like he's militant, he's telling you, my relationship with you is more important than my stance. Wow, that's wild right there. I know a lot of people are not going to get that. A man that tells you that you're more important than how he feels about his beliefs. People want their cookie cutter individual when they meet them, but you got to work towards your individual. Some people, like I tell people I've dated, I might not get your point of view today. It might be a week from now, but if you have a valid point, I might come around and say, you know what, you were right. And I've learned from that. I've come to terms where I can compromise with. You're whittling away at your perfect individual, and I think that she wanted her perfect individual, if she was looking for something, up front, and didn't want to put no work into it.
Wow. So, do you feel that she used the cop out, or do you feel it was a cop out of her saying she didn't want to meet Demetrius' people and she self-eliminated herself? Do you think that was the real reason why she self-eliminated? Or do you feel possibly that she saw that she had no end game to the men of her choosing and she was ready to bow out?
It was the end game, because I already knew, like, this is what was weird to me. She came over here, told me that she had reservations about the guys. Get to the beach house. She's all over Demetrius, telling him, bae this, bae that, fixing his plate, rubbing on his thigh, telling him that, she wants all his energy. You know what I'm saying? But you just told me that you're not, like, you can't go forward with this guy. You're going to have conversations with people and let them know. And you're thinking about self-eliminating. But you just sold this man a dream. This is where our audience don't get. Their minds won't understand. These guys were sold a dream. They was told that, I want that energy from you. I want that smoke. I want all this affection and love. But when she got it, and it's almost like she was trying to embarrass people on camera. When she got it, it was like a 360. Oh, nope, I'm good. I don't want it. But she got it from Tory. That's what she was trying to pull out of me. She pulled out the affections and the, oh, I like you, and the gifts, because that's the energy she was giving me. If you notice, she gave me a gift. You know what I'm saying? You know that song, every time I try to leave, keep calling me back. You know what I'm saying? Like every time I try to pull off, like she was she was right there, like, oh nope, Tori's not gonna go nowhere. Nope. Where you think you going, Tori? And then it was never like I said, I already peeked it out. I knew what it was. I think she so Donovan, a thing. Don't get me wrong, I could see the way she looked at Donovan. I think she really liked him. I just think
Mm-hmm.
that you know some people are just players. You know what I'm saying? Like they just like that. Like that's their energy, and it's okay if that's who you are. You know what I'm saying? Just be upfront about it. And like when Demetrius gave her the energy, she kept saying Demetrius is not giving her the energy she wants. Okay, Demetrius is giving you the energy that you're giving. Like, because talking to these guys, they felt the same way I felt. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And people are so caught up on this being a dating show, but you forgot it's called Ready to Love. Keyword is ready. You gotta be ready, otherwise you
Gotta be
waste
ready.
time. Not yeah. So not it's not called Ready to Date. It's not called Ready to Date Around. It's not ready to be indecisive. It's called Ready to Love. When you go to Walmart, you know what you want to go get. When you go to Home Depot, you know what kind of supplies you want to go get. So when you go to a show that says "I'm ready to love," then you know that you're coming there to find your individual, and you follow the process. But it's like this in real dating like when you meeting a bunch of people and you're dating, you have that one main event where like, okay, I'm gonna see where you go, but I'm still gonna date around. You know, I don't I don't think she really had a main event. It was just always date around. And it's cool. But people, I read in the comments, well, she was up front. No, she was not up front. No, because somebody tell you something after the fact or in a particular moment doesn't mean the whole context in between is mute. Like it's like me telling a girl, hey, I want to be with you. I see myself in the future with you, and it's just me and you. I telling her this dream, and then I'm selling this other person the dream. Like I got this other chick you see me in the bar with, and you overhear me saying like I want to be with you too. You know what I'm saying? Like you the girl for me. You know what I'm saying? Don't leave. You know what I'm saying? And
Mm-hmm.
girl walks over and say something like, "Oh, this you? So you feel that way too? Oh, shoot, I'm free. I'm free to date. Yeah, you free to date. But you're selling both of them a dream. You know what I'm saying? You go back home. These people that are justifying it. Put yourself in your if you have kids, put your daughter. You want your daughter to be treated like that. You want your son to be treated like that. You want your father to be treated like that. You want your mother to be treated like that. It ain't got nothing to do with how I feel. It's just about human decency. People taking out the human decency because they hurt at home. You know, I realize a lot of our audience are he and theys. When they say because he does and they do, that you already know you're dealing with the wrong people because they they justify their actions on people they don't even freaking know. You got to be you, regardless. You got to be accountable for who you are. If you feel he and they are doing wrong, but you want to do he and they stuff because he and they are doing it, you're just as wrong as everybody else. So don't act like you holier than thou.
Absolutely. So, how do you feel about how she is portraying everything in her interviews at this point?
Honestly, most of me just don't care. But I mean, it's like a spilled narrative of BS. You know what I'm saying? And I don't really care, but at the same time, it's like, okay, you ain't got to drag me for it because, I mean, I do got receipts, but I'm not trying to be messy like that. I've been trying to be all political, like, not saying negative stuff, even though people still like I should say, this and that. I mean, me and you've had conversations where I've been like, you know, and you ask me questions about something. I'm like, and I'm very political about it. I'm like, and because I'm not here to tear down our people. I'm not here to tear down our women. I'm not here. I'm a supporter of us in all fashion, shapes, and fashion. And it's just like, come on now. Now, let's give context to reality. You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no reality in it, or at least you're overlooking your accountability. I think that's what the main thing about it is that she just has not taken any accountability for her own actions, and is putting everything on every other people and the men. So you're putting a lot of stuff on men because they have intentions. Now, if we were playing games, I realized these men would not like if the men were playing games, then it would be like, oh, these men are playing games, and it still would not be no accountability. But you got serious men that were looking for something, and now our audience feels like it's the men's fault for being intentional. What? So the men were going to lose anyway. Like you were just going to hate on us men, no matter for being intentional. You know, it doesn't matter. Like we're a lose. People are going to hate us regardless because we're intentional. But the same ladies that hate on us, they say there's no intentional men out here. So you,
Which is it?
which is
Which is it? Okay. So you have been very, political about it. So I just want you to not be political just one time. Like, I know that you have endured a lot from this whole situation. She has said a lot about you throughout this whole situation. And I feel like the way that she has talked about you in these interviews is bullshit. And I just want you to say something just not political. Like, how do you really feel about how she is? Because, like I said, I wanted this to be gloves off. So I
I
want everyone to know how you really feel
you,
about
I
the
think
whole thing in general.
you know what? I think I've been more reserved because people project themselves onto me. Like if I say if I'm too nice, then they're like, "Oh, why are you being so nice?" If I say something about her, then oh, he's hurt and he's whining. People put their own little spin and narrative. So I think that's why I've avoided being either side. You know what I'm saying? Because these people live in misery, and it's like I'm damned if I do and I'm damned if I don't. And that's why I've been like that because I'm gonna be this guy now. I'm whining and I'm hurting. I just can't tell you my side of the story or the truth because you don't want to hear the truth. You know what I'm saying? You want me to be hurt. You know, you like kicking that man. You know what I'm saying? I want to kick this man harder. Let me kick him while he's down. Kick him. And so that's why I've been like that. But honestly, if I was to tell you the truth and take the gloves off, I feel like she played games. She played games with the men. She was full of it. Um, she sent us all the cookie cutter molds. She wanted to keep the men in her corner. She put a lot of dissension between us. You know what I'm saying? And she wasn't looking for nothing. You know, or at least I feel like at that point she was not looking for anything with the guys, and she knew that because after you telling me that you don't want to be with these guys, why portray to? And I'm sitting here watching this with my own eyes. With my own eyes, why tell this man I want all this and not, and then once he give it to you, you just kind of no. You know, you told Tory you wanted all this and what kind of man you wanted. Tory gave you that. When Tory gave it to you, you didn't want it.
Mm-hmm.
So these are things you ask to know you type of man. I gave you the type of man that I am, but also what you said you wanted. And it was basically like I'm playing, and I felt like she was playing. I felt like she was playing the whole time. I ain't gonna lie to you. You know what? Let me stop. I just didn't. I felt like she was playing. Probably, I felt like she was playing before the bonfire, but I couldn't put my finger on it. And I think the bonfire really kind of just like confirmed it. You know what I'm saying? But she put so
Mm-hmm.
much effort in keeping me around, like a lot of effort. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of effort. Remember I told you about the we went out, you know what I'm saying, out the cam. Um it was like so much effort she put in because it's like, okay, I thought what happened to after the show? You know what I'm saying? It's like you like fuck that. I'm gonna get this man what he wants. I ain't about to I ain't about to lose him on my team. I gotta keep my team together, you know what I'm saying? My starting lineup. And but nah, I don't think she wanted nothing. I only think, and even if she did, I don't think I knew she knew she wasn't ready. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think you dodged the bullet now in looking back at it all?
Did I what?
Do you think you dodged the bullet now looking back at it all?
Yeah, I most definitely did. I mean, honestly, I just felt like you know, Sabrina, I don't understand her intentions. Um, I don't understand, like, just in general. Like, I'm hearing the stuff in the interviews. Like, even last, who was out last night, she was like, I haven't said anything about you negative or whatever. And I'm like, well, I keep hearing comments and seeing this like kind of sly remark, but she's like, because she asked me, do I have an issue with it? I just told her I don't have no issue with you. I just feel like we really don't have any conversation with each other. You know what I'm saying? Because I felt like were playing. You know what I'm saying? And I said, and then also I'm hearing sly stuff in the interviews, and she's like, no, I'm not talking negative about you, but I trust you. If you said I've the people I trust, like, they're not just gonna tell me this for no reason. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what I try to get her to understand. You ain't got to sell me a bill of dreams. I'm good. I'm living my own dream. But no, she wasn't ready for nothing.
All right. So last night at the Love and Marriage DC premiere party or whatnot, did she approach you or you approached her? How did that even happen that y'all even came together to talk at all?
She approached me, Nakia, and her new boyfriend. It was walking towards me, said, they were telling me bye or whatever. And she said either came to me and said something. No, she came to Nakia and then she looked at me and said, you don't have a problem with me being over here, dude, or something like that. I'm like, or something. I wasn't really paying attention. And I said, I hear you, you're feeling a false narrative on the interviews. And she's like, no, I've not said nothing but good things about you. And, I didn't, I haven't said, like, I feel like overall, I made sure that, everything I've said about you has been wonderful, blah, blah, blah. You're not, because you are a wonderful person, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, cool. But this is not what I'm getting back. You know what I'm saying? You trying to portray people like I'm chasing the mouse or something like that. Even if the mouse didn't want to be chased, I stopped chasing it anyway, so it doesn't really matter. You're spilling in there. Like, I think with Sabrina, I felt like she wanted everybody to want her, like, but it had to be on her terms too. Like, she wanted to be like that chick on like, I'm that chick. Like, everybody wants me. Look at me. You know what I'm saying? I put this dress on. These guys better be looking at me. They better find me sexy. And when I'm on camera, they better be all drooling over me because that's what I want people to see. Like, drool over me, guys. You know what I'm saying? And in truth of the reality, though, the guys weren't doing that. But you got to realize the narrative is they got to have a storyline now because these guys are interested in the girls, like this one girl. And they got to get that storyline together of, well, who's going to win this girl? So now they got to put a narrative out. Well, they got to have the heartbroken one that doesn't end up with her. I got 99 problems with the female in that one.
There you go.
They got to have the guy that he's cool, chill back and relax or whatever. And, he's not studying her, but he really wants her. You know what I'm saying? And they got the guy, like, he's the playboy, but can she pull the playboy? You know what I'm saying? Like, they put their narratives on everybody. You know what I'm saying? And she feeds into that narrative. Like, they're going to feed her because she feeds into that narrative. And that's what they want. They need somebody to be the bad girl. You know what I'm saying? Or that one. You know what I'm saying? Because, there wasn't that many options.
That's true. That is true. So what is the biggest misconception that she has put out in her interviews about you in general, how you feel, or about the whole thing in general? Like, what shocked you the most to hear out of her interviews?
Sorry, the pollen, but I haven't watched but one interview, and
Is that purposely?
huh?
Is that purposely?
Sorry, the pollen after me. No, I just don't watch anybody else's interviews. I'm over Ready to Love. Like, this was like a stepping stone where I'm not trying to turn back around. So anything Ready to Love, I don't watch really people interview. I watch hers. Ooh, that pollen's getting to me. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Bad decision to do this outside. But I feel like in the regards to the question is just like, I don't know. It just didn't have any purpose. She didn't have any purpose. Like in the interviews about me, I haven't watched them because it just, I don't know what narrative is. There's no point of me. I just like, I want to put it all past me. But as for her, only thing I heard was, okay, well, the narrative of the precious kiss or whatever. Oh, it was done to hurt her or checkmate her. I'm like, ain't nobody give a damn. Like I wouldn't. My forethought is not that advanced. To be honest with you, you know.
Do you think it actually did hurt her?
No, no. And then it's funny. So I heard her getting on to what was it? She was getting on either Demetrius or Donovan about the kiss, right? Or with off-camera kiss with Donovan, right?
Yes.
But she came to me about the press kiss, talking about, well, I should have heard it from you. That just speaks to your character and all. Like, and I wasn't mad about it, but just kind of like gave me a little shade. And I'm like, okay, well, you didn't tell Demetrius, but you crucified me, like, and mine was on camera. You know what I'm saying? So you were not even living like, it was like kind of had some, I don't want to say narcissistic tendencies, but it was just like practice what you preach. You know, some people feel like he shouldn't have told Demetrius or that he should, but like, does it really matter? I mean, at the end of the day, it's a tidbit of information that Demetrius needed to know to go forward. So it doesn't matter if he told or what reason he told. You know, it's relatable information, especially if somebody's telling you that, they're not tough. And it's like they're not into other people like that, but they're all into you. So
that is so true. That is so true.
Yeah, I hate that.
Did y'all ever get that glass? Did you ever get that glass of wine with her that you text her about after the show?
No. I moved on. I moved on well for 3 years. I moved on. Happy now. You know what I'm saying? Happy, blessed, and beautiful. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was this was an experience, but honestly, we could have did this in real life. Like the experience that the men had, we can do this on our own. You know what I'm saying?
That is true. And what was y'all? Well, how did she act towards you after reunion?
She didn't have any negative things to. I mean, she acted fine. I think she just kind of wonders where I am with her. I think that's what she told me. She wondered where I am, and I think she doesn't like that I'm not talking to her, or on that level with her. I could tell it. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like like. I don't know. I just feel like you played so much. Why I can't come back? Like why? Like what is it in me that is comfort? Like it makes you feel comfortable. You know what I'm saying? Like what is it in me that makes you feel like, that you even want to still have Tory around? And maybe not. Maybe just that she feels like, I don't know. I don't understand. I can't tell you how somebody else feels, but how she acted towards me to the reunion wasn't in a negative light. It was like, she told me she hates how the show has pigeonholed me to her like that, and like in the regards of trying to over dramatize the heartbreak, and because she's like, she feel like it's been amplified. You know what I'm saying? That's one thing she said to me at the reunion. And I'm like, yeah, it has been amplified. I mean, one moment doesn't lead to that. It's one moment of shock, And she's like, she hates that they spilled that narrative. It's like it's not even my narrative. So that's one thing I did give her kudos for. But then I think after the show, she's kind of feeding that narrative now. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And exactly. It's like the more she feeds the narrative, the more interviews they give her. You know what I'm saying? As you notice, outside of you and the bloggers, they owned and give Tory no interview.
Right.
Zero. They've owned and gave Tory because they don't want me to destroy that narrative. They don't want me to be like, oh, well, no, I wasn't heartbroken and blah blah blah. They need to pigeonhole that to sell this reality show. And you know, it's crazy now that she feeds into the narrative. And if you feed into the narrative of what the show wants, then they're going to give you those interviews. They're going to put you out there. Because at the end of the day, if Tory was doing everything that you say Tory was doing, or in these interviews that I hear, I haven't watched, don't get me wrong, but I know you have, um, you do not have to, communicate with me. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to um, act like, I don't know. It's weird. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm used to people, like, if they're not messing with you, they're just not messing with you. And
Mm-hmm.
you know, since this show, I feel like I'm meeting people that will, won't, act like they're really care for you or like you or friends or just interested, and then they're not really genuine about it. You know what I'm saying?
That's accurate enough. Yeah. Okay. So now that everything is over, this is your last interview. You don't want anything else to do with the show. If she were to ever try to contact you again and say, I messed up, I was wrong, could we try again? Would you ever?
No, she already knows the answer to that. I think that's, you know, I think that honestly, I have no, even regardless of what's been said, I have no hate for her. I wish her well. I want her happy. You know what I'm saying? And hopefully, if she has not already, find the love of her life. We all deserve that. You know what I'm saying? We all make mistakes. Just like, hopefully the person she was yesterday, the day before, is not who she is today and the day after. Just like Tori's not the person that I was, during the show. I've transformed and I've, taken accountability for who I am and my actions. And I am developing myself into a better person each day that transpires and goes into the next. But if she was to reach out to me and be like, I want to, I just don't have any interest like that. I mean, I know the audience would love me to be like, oh yeah, I would like to, or I did, or I had interest like that. Like once I get those, with me, it has to be a certain amount of trust level for me to feel away for you. I gotta be able to be vulnerable, be comfortable to know that I can give you my heart and emotions, and they not be trampled or disrespected. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't feel comfortable in regards to her. So no.
Okay. Well, is there anything else you want to add or come clean about or defend that you have heard or anything of that sort?
No, no. I mean, honestly, I feel like people gonna speak for you. Since I've been doing this show, whether somebody got negative stuff to say, ain't too many people had negative stuff to say. Only person really even said anything is, her impressions. You know what I'm saying? But beyond that, and it's even the things they say hasn't been like overly like negative. It's just been like, I think it's a steer narrative of falsehood. You know what I mean? At least
Mm-hmm.
I haven't listened to everything, so I don't watch it. But I think that in that regards, mm, I don't have anything to correct. I mean, I let people speak for me. I've heard people say, "Hey, you seem like a good dude." I've had people last night say, "I see through the BS that people are trying to put that narrative on you." And I've heard people say, "Hey, keep your head up. We got a hateful audience." And I've had women say that. They said that last night. It was like, I saw your interview with so and so, and the way our women comment, it's like, oh my God, are they even human? You know what I'm saying? Like that's what this is what our the fans had told me, like pulled me aside and said, you know what, please, please, Tori, do not change you. Do not don't be the person that you are. Don't mind people being hateful or hurtful. Tell who you are. If they feel like you're doing this or trying to destroy you, or oh now you're saying certain things that gotta be out of hurt, that's because they hurt themselves. You know,
Absolutely.
the first portion of healing is being able to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? When you're able to talk about yourself and your truth, you are healed. When you feel comfortable with being by yourself, you are healed. when you feel that you have to do things, like I have to justify, I have to rebuttal what Sabrina said, or I have to say this and that, I'm, I would be healed. I am a whole individual and I'm happy.
And I think that's the best note we can end off of. Tory, I thank you so much for coming back and talking to me and getting it off your chest. I hope that you were able to say everything that you needed to say and let it be clear on what is and what was. And thank you, everyone who had joined us. Um, a lot of good responses in this chat. I will say that.
Yeah, really.
Very, very positive here. So
Oh,
you definitely have some good fans in the home anytime on this platform. If you ever need anything from me, you just let me know. You always have a place here for anything you ever want to say about anything going on in your life. And I definitely will like to meet up with you again to see how things are going in the future. I wish you best with your girls and everything else. And you have a wonderful rest of your day, sir.
you
Thank you
too.
so
I
much.
appreciate you having me on. It's been a blessing.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone, for watching. And that is a wrap.